Saturday, March 10, 1984. Cool. Cloudy and cool today with a 40% chance of rain in the morning, becoming partly cloudy in the afternoon. High in the low 50s. Fair and cold tonight. Low in the mid-30s. Partly cloudy and cool tomorrow. Highs near 50. Carla called me pretty early this morning. I told her all about my computer achievements and pretty much bored her, so I wisely changed the subject. There are patches of snow north of Pine Bluff. Who would have thought? I know it was cold last night, but I didn't expect snow. It's cloudy and there is a chill radiating through the whole house. I need some long sleeves to be comfortable even with the heat running. I keep glancing out the window in hopes of seeing a snowflake, but so far I'm seeing only drizzle. I've been watching Mid-South Wrestling on Saturday mornings on a pretty regular basis in the last month or so. I remember Terry and I watching the tag team of Hacksaw Butch Reed and Jim Neidhart splitting up in a particularly violent fashion. Reed was beating Neidhart bloody with a football helmet and the television footage had to stop due to an excess of gory violence.
I don't think there's anything with more hatred than a divorce. And when two men are tag team champions, they're almost married in a way. And these two bruisers, both former All-Americans, both professional football players, Hacksaw Butch Reed and Jim the Anvil Neidhart, have locked horns like two runaway elephants. In Oklahoma City, let's look at the closing moments of a match with Reed and Neidhart, and Reed has enlisted a new alliance. In Oklahoma City, the beautiful Marriott Center, the largest crowd ever there for wrestling, 12,000 people. Tremendous amount of excitement. No love lost between Hacksaw Butch Reed and Jim the Anvil Neidhart. These men are on a collision like two freight trains. This match ended in a disqualification right here. It's all going Jim Neidhart's way. This is just the closing moments of that match as Neidhart hits him in that fall away. You'll see Hacksaw Butch Reed get his foot over the ropes, which is out of bounds. Referee Carl Fergie breaking the hold. And Neidhart clubbing him. Neidhart's so big and awesome. He just clubs you, and it's a very brutal type thing, not a sharp, crisp type of punch, just a punishing, heavy, concussion type blow. Butch Reed, a former All-American, professional football player, Kansas City Chiefs. Jim the Admiral Neidhart, the Dallas Cowboys and the Oakland Raiders. These two men, a collision of these two freight trains. And you'll see right here coming aside the new alliance, Butch Reed and Crusher Darsow. And Darsow throws Reed the football helmet. Reed pushes Carl Fergie out of the way. Carl Fergie immediately starts the disqualification. But Butch Reed doesn't care. And as you see Reed spear Jim the Anvil Neidhart with that football helmet, a tactic that's been outlawed by the National Football League. There he's doing a wave drill. He's so exuberant and exulting over seeing his man and his opponent helpless, which naturally you would be without a helmet to protect yourself. And then again, he goes to the vicious spear that has been outlawed by the National Football League. And right here, we stop the tape because as he goes, it's just too much. Well, Butch Reed, a former pro football player and an All-American, used a football helmet to good advantage. It was a disqualification, but I'm sure Neidhart had some bruises, and he'll be answering about that. But let's go to the ring right now, and Jim Ross.
I've watched the program on and off since around June of 1981. Back then the top hero in the area was an unremarkable guy named Terry Gibbs. Anytime that another fan favorite got into trouble with a villain using illegal tactics, Gibbs would charge into the ring and set things straight. I remember the time Gibbs finally got what was coming to him when this Japanese karate expert named Mr. Pogo grabbed him in a throat claw and refused to let go. Gibbs was bleeding from the mouth and had to be rushed to the hospital. He didn't die or anything. Meanwhile, I think that Mr. Wrestling 2 is on the verge of turning bad. It started in the dressing room a few weeks ago when Magnum TA, Wrestling 2's protege, was named the top contender for Junkyard Dog's North American title. Instead of being proud that he had coached Magnum to the top spot in Mid-South Wrestling, the older Wrestling 2 was jealous.
I think it stinks. And I'll tell you why I think it stinks. You know, I told you before, when I came in here, I was going to train this man and make a man out of him. Yeah, he held the title at one time with Dog's help. And a week later, overconfident or whatever you want to call, he kind of felt like he had it all down and ended up losing it. You know, I held the title at one time. And I told you also that I'd train this man and make a man out of him, and yet it would not interfere with my career. You understand?
Just a minute, you know, your whole logic's been to get him ready to take on anybody, and certainly the North American champion's the epitome of that. This doesn't mean that Mid-South has passed you by. It just means he's got the next match coming.
Yes, it doesn't mean they passed me by. They went right on by me, and I don't like it, and I still think it stinks.
In fact, the Masked Man went so far as to slap Magnum on television. When Cowboy Bill Watts, the president of Mid-South, questioned Mr. Wrestling about what the heck was going on with him, the old grouch went on a tirade about how Magnum TA was weak and that it was an insult that he would be given a title shot. I sense a feud brewing.
He was in trouble. He was getting the devil beat out of him. Let's face it. He was down for the count. He was upside down, screaming, "I quit, I quit, I quit. I can't stand no more.
Wait a minute. You're saying that he was saying that he quit? I've never heard this man quit.
You heard what I said. He said he quit. He said, I quit. That's what I called the referee over there for. That's why I threw the towel in. I didn't want him to embarrass us any further. We are supposed to be the tag team champions. I don't want any embarrassment, so I threw the towel in to where he wouldn't have to embarrass myself by quitting.
So you are now saying, and this is different than your story last week when I asked you, you're now saying that he submitted and gave up in that hole.
That's what I said, isn't it?
And you threw the towel in for that reason.
That's why I threw the towel.
Coach, what in the world is wrong with you? You, of all people, know that I'm no quitter. I wasn't a quitter when I met you. That was the characteristic of me, that you thought you could make me a champion. All the hard work, all the hours of training you had me, and I never quit. And in that ring with Darso, I didn't quit. You know I didn't quit. And you know what? I know why you did what you did, because you were jealous. You were afraid that I was going to come out on top in that tournament and do something that you weren't going to have the opportunity to do. Well, I'm going to tell you something. All that aside, you and I are the champions. I'm going to put all that aside because we owe something to ourselves as the champions. We owe something to all those people out there that we represent, and I want to go on as champions and remain that way.
Let me tell you something, T.A. I told you once, I'll tell you again. I picked you up from the garbage and made you a man. But you're a gutless man. You got no guts. You see, I've embarrassed you. I've slapped your face not once, but 3 times. I have put a challenge to you, and you turned your back on me because you haven't got the guts. And matter of fact, you know, the embarrassment, no one can be embarrassed anymore than but being slapped. And matter of fact, I think I'll slap you again.
Hey, let me tell you something. I've turned the other cheek, but I can see I can talk till I'm blue in the face. It ain't going to do no good. Well, let's get it on.
Oh, no.
He's ready. He's calling it. He's
Bill,
ready.
let me tell you something right now. He's just like the Junkyard Dog. You see, he's looking for an excuse. If I go in there and beat him now, he'll say he's not dressed right, he wasn't prepared. He'll have some kind of excuse, just like the Junkyard Dog, looking for excuses. You sign the contract, you make it legal, and I'm going to put you in that ring in front of everybody, and I'll beat you up and up. Square, fair and square. That's where I'm going to beat him.
There you have it. There you have it. It's in the hands of Grizzly Smith. You can see the crowd. They'd like it now. So would I, tell you the truth, but it's up to Grizzly Smith. We'll be back after these words from Mid-South Network.